Adam Schiff, because he created 3 years of a massive fallacy that did so much damage to this country and made us miss probably one of the most important stories of our lifetime. We were having hearings on impeachment while the coronavirus was exploding.
Greg Gutfeld exposes Adam Schiff on live TV. Those 10 words lit up news feeds faster than a congressional scandal. Picture it, the quick-witted Fox host leaning back with that half smile as he dismantles the California congressman's greatest hits of hype. He didn't swing with policy papers or dry statistics. He went for the soft spots, the bug-eyed urgency, the endless cliffhangers, the solemn warnings that never paid off. Viewers expecting another polite panel got a comedic wrecking ball instead. In less than 5 minutes, Gutfeld turned Schiff's 3-year Russia-Gate saga, impeachment theater, and Senate ambitions into a single punchline so sharp the gallery groaned. But the sting wasn't just humor, it exposed a pattern America had almost stopped noticing. Schiff's public undoing really began the night the House voted to censure him in June 2023. In one of the most humiliating roll calls in modern memory, the chamber echoed with "aye" after "aye," while Schiff pretended the rebuke was a badge of honor. Gutfeld replayed the footage in slow verbal motion, noting how the congressman's frozen grin looked more like a dentist's poster than a profile in courage. To the host, the punishment was less about partisan payback and more about overdue accountability. 3 years of televised theories, none of them proven, finally met a concrete consequence. Even Democrats cringed, whispering that the party's most reliable media guest had become a liability. Yet Schiff didn't blink. Moments later, he fired off fundraising texts that framed the censure as heroic martyrdom, promising followers he'd defend democracy harder than ever. Gutfeld scoffed that the pitch sounded like a late-night infomercial for self-respect. Still, the tactic worked, and that irony set the stage for what came next. Late 2019 felt like a political carnival. While an unfamiliar virus crept across news wires, Schiff presided over marathon impeachment hearings, delivering grim forecasts in prime time. Gutfeld contrasted those clips with headlines screaming, "Wuhan lockdown," asking why the intel chair seemed obsessed with TV drama, while public health briefings gathered dust. When the pandemic finally exploded, Schiff blamed the White House for distraction, never noting his own role in hogging airtime. Greg quipped the congressman moved goalposts so often he should charge rent on the 50-yard line. Viewers waited for an apology that never came. And the silence set up the next reveal.
Pop their dentures when Schiff finally gets censored. And so the House condemns the lies of the man with the zombie eyes. Last night, the House voted on party lines to censure Adam Schiff for promoting the Trump-Russia collusion hoax, which was as believable as Brian Kilmeade getting fan mail. 2 for 2. Schiff becomes only the 26th member ever to be censured, but to his credit, he's still the only member to have a 12-inch neck.
January 2024 brought the plot twist nobody wanted. Schiff announced a run for the Senate seat long kept warm by Dianne Feinstein, recording his launch video on TikTok of all places. Gutfeld delighted in the optics. A man once entrusted with America's deepest secrets, now courting teenagers on an app flagged by his own committee as a data-harvesting Trojan horse. In the clip, Schiff stared into the camera, eyes wider than ever, promising to fight extremism, while a dreamy soundtrack suggested he'd already won. Greg dubbed the stunt Schiff Talk, joking that if the candidate wanted California cred, he should have filmed from inside a U-Haul heading toward Texas. The Senate bid, he argued, wasn't a new chapter, just the sequel to a show that refused to end. And whenever a sequel drops, audiences crave fresher drama. That appetite for spectacle explains why Gutfeld zeroed in on style over substance. He called Schiff a method actor stuck in rehearsal, practicing furrowed brows in a Capitol bathroom mirror. Each appearance followed a formula. Ominous pause, unverified claim, solemn sigh, promise of revelations, just around the corner, rinse, fundraise, repeat. The congressman's speeches, Greg said, were less persuasive than promotional, aimed at keeping cameras rolling. Gutfeld illustrated with Schiff's 2021 warning that a routine oversight dispute ranked up there with Watergate.
Curb, and the irony is superb. He went crying to mommy on an app run by Chinese commies. Congressman Adam Schiff announced this morning he's running for U.S. Senate in California, which is guaranteed to boost U-Haul rentals headed for Texas. He unveiled the highly polished and produced political ad right on the heels of getting booted from the House Intel Committee. Coincidence? I think not.
Headlines bloomed, donations poured in. The real scandal, Gregg argued, was how hype outpaced facts. That skill, however, is fragile. Performance politics thrives only while audiences clap. Strip away the dramatics, and voters start judging results instead of rhetoric. That recalibration was already underway. Next, Gutfeld revisited the greatest never-ending teaser trailer in congressional history. Schiff's pledge that evidence of Trump-Russia collusion was hiding in plain sight. From 2017 until the Mueller report fizzled in 2019, the congressman hinted at classified proof that would stun the nation. He never produced it. Instead, like a carnival barker stalling for the elephant, he waved new headlines, cited unnamed sources, and promised the big reveal soon. Gregg likened the routine to a murder mystery where the detective keeps losing the body. By spring 2020, even sympathetic journalists admitted the smoking gun had turned into smoke rings. Schiff shrugged and insisted fresh briefings would vindicate him, pivoting instantly to Ukraine, phone records, tax returns, any cloud that might thunder. Gutfeld's audience saw the pattern: announce, delay, declare partial victory, then change the topic before anyone checks the scoreboard. That loop, Gregg warned, wasn't just annoying. It eroded public trust across party lines, and the backlash was poised to snap back hard. When accountability finally arrived, Schiff adopted a brand new persona, the persecuted patriot. Gutfeld aired clips of the congressman lamenting that extreme MAGA Republicans were silencing him by yanking his intelligence gavel. To Gregg, the claim sounded like a fire chief complaining the town revoked his siren after too many false alarms. Schiff framed every inquiry into his conduct as an assault on democracy itself.
Hearings on impeachment while the coronavirus was exploding. We talked about that virus in green rooms, but we had to do this impeachment story. We had to show these hearings. It's all on him, man. He's got to go. They got to investigate him. They got to hold him accountable. I'm not going to say he should go to prison, but my evil twin will say he should go away to prison for a very long time.
Donations spiked again, proof the victim narrative pays cash, especially in Silicon Valley inboxes. Yet the more he leaned on martyrdom, the more voters noticed the disconnect between soaring rhetoric and skimpy results. California polls taken after the Senate announcement showed Schiff leading, but another metric told a darker story. Unfavorable ratings climbed with every televised grievance. Gutfeld highlighted those numbers on screen and joked that Schiff's victimhood was the only thing spreading faster than California sales tax revenue. Still, the congressman doubled down, promising fresh investigations. The pity party was just getting started. Book deal season proved the point. Even after his predictions fizzled, publishers lined up to buy Schiff's memoir, betting that scare stories still sell. Gutfeld read the jacket blurb aloud, a courageous defense of truth, then deadpanned that the only courage required was cross-referencing footnotes. He joked the working title was How I Saved Democracy with Zero Evidence and a Ring Light. Cable hosts obliged, giving Schiff marathon interviews scored with patriotic strings. Meanwhile, fact-checkers issued polite corrections that vanished beneath louder promos. Gutfeld argued this echo loop, hype, tour, deferential interviews, created the illusion of vindication. By the time reality seeped in, a fresh headline chased it off stage. Schiff, he concluded, had perfected a business model: convert accusations into airtime, airtime into book advances, advances into new ads. Yet even the best business falters when customers tire of the product. Attendance at spring 2025 signings slumped, and a viral clip of empty chairs drew millions of laughs. The roast practically wrote itself, but Gutfeld wasn't finished.
Congressman Schiff, how are you?
Shame, shame, shame. Shame on you. Oh, yeah. Oh, excuse me, Mr. Gutfeld.
So, Congressman, I got to ask, how did it feel to have your ass chewed out like that in front of your colleagues?
Oh, well, I will say this, Mr. Gutfeld, it feels...
That hammer, Gutfeld insisted, involved more than one man's reputation. It targeted the entire ecosystem that thrives on fear marketing. When pundits profit from dire predictions untethered to outcomes, civic debate rots. Schiff simply illustrated the hazard in high definition. Gregg contrasted the congressman with lesser-known lawmakers who quietly draft bipartisan bills. No vanity documentaries, no six-figure speaking tour. They rarely trend, yet they repair bridges, both literal and political. He then posed the uncomfortable question: what else did America miss while Schiff commanded the spotlight? Pandemic prep was only one example. Cybersecurity lapses, fentanyl trafficking, ballooning deficits, all sidelined by the congressman's never-ending saga. The cost, Gutfeld argued, is measured in lost attention. Democracy can survive bad ideas. It struggles when oxygen is sucked up by theatrics. The host urged viewers to audit any politician who sells perpetual crisis. If evidence never arrives, maybe the crisis never existed. That challenge hovered as the segment reached its sharpest turn yet. Gutfeld closed with a grin that signaled the real verdict belonged to viewers. He urged them to remember the roast the next time an earnest face warns of doom without receipts. If the latest emergency arrives gift-wrapped in dramatic music and fundraising links, reach for curiosity before outrage. As for Schiff, his future will depend less on literary flair or viral speeches, and more on whether voters still accept suspense in place of substance. Maybe that's the biggest reveal. When laughter exposes hollowness, applause turns into an audit. Schiff might still win that Senate seat. California politics surprises even insiders. Yet the lesson of Gutfeld's roast lingers. Credibility isn't built on constant cliffhangers, it's forged in evidence. Audiences at last seem ready to demand real receipts and measurable results.